Yeah. Okay. So then here's a question: do you think I feel pretty strongly about this? Do you think philosophy should be taught K through 12?
I mean, I don't know about that. I certainly didn't take formal philosophy.
I
I
never
mean,
have
like,
either, for the record.
yeah, maybe. I mean, like, I could definitely see the benefits of it. It would be really hard to find people who are going to be able to teach it well, but I mean, like, I could see it insofar as like teaching people how to like rationally parse through different ideas. I think I'm bitten on the idea that like sociology should be taught at K through 12. I think I could like bite that pill because that seems like something pretty relevant that like most people should be able to understand. Along with like basic like civic engagement, like that's probably something else that could be taught K through 12.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah, like
100% agree.
teaching everyone how to be able to like engage with their local and state and federal governments in different ways. Like most people don't know how to do this, and it's literally like essentially one of the most fundamental rights that everyone has in engaging in a actually functioning democracy.
You know
um
what? You would know a lot about this, right? What is Destiny was on a panel recently. I don't want to talk about him that much, but this is relevant.
mhm.
He was on a panel recently where they were talking about it was him and Pisco, I believe, were talking about against a bunch of other people about how like corporations, Citizens United. I don't want to make this conversation 30 years long, but the TLDR of it was essentially that like a lot of people believe that corporations control everything. Money's like the only way to get politics changed or whatever. What is your view on that kind of stuff?
I think that from what I know right now, so like I'm gonna say a couple things, right? Because I'm not like a specialist. I don't know like specifically all the ways that corporations can influence democracy. But what I can say based on my own experience, because right now, for example, like I'm working for a state and federal legislator
Yeah.
or state and federal legislators, right? Like I am very quickly learning like all the ways that you can be able to engage in local politics, well, local, state, and federal politics. And like, there's a lot you can do as an individual, and there's a lot you could do organizing with other people. And so, like, basically, I think that corporations probably have like more power than the average person, by nature of the fact that they have just like a
Oh,
lot of money.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, like, to say that people have no power or no sway, and especially to say that a lot of people together have no power or no sway, I don't think that that's true. I think that, like, especially like if you have a lot of people who organize together consistently and know exactly what they need to do to be able to achieve the kind of change that they want to, I think that you can very easily be able to achieve like political outcomes that you want to.
Okay, and
Um,
then last question, I swear. Um, what? Actually, maybe we disagree on this, and then I could be swayed. I don't think I don't think being like or voting for a third party generally helps anything.
yeah, I
Like
agree. Well, I mean, like
okay,
under our current means that
under the
like,
current,
yeah, like
yes,
first past the post yeah, first past the post makes basically any third party irrelevant.
yeah, okay, cool. So wait, what was that? Wait, what makes up everything?
First past the post. So basically, like, if we had like ranked choice voting, for example, which would essentially mean that like, I do I have to explain? Essentially, like by virtue of
You
the
don't
way
have
that
to. I
we,
can just look it up
well,
for
yeah,
you.
I mean, like, yeah, that's something that you can look up. But to simplify it, the way that we have our government essentially structured right now means that third parties essentially are useless. In most circumstances, right? It is most politically expedient to put as many as much into one of the two major political parties as possible, because they're the only two parties that are actually meaningfully competitive. And so, for example, like a lot of people are talking about the idea that like Trump may like split the Republican Party and like form his own independent Trump party. Under our current system, assuming nothing else changes, that would be amazing. That would be
Yeah, no, it would
great.
destroy. We'd win
Yeah,
every election
yeah,
ever.
exactly. Because they would like essentially what you're doing is you're taking like one party that's actually meaningfully competitive, and you're making two shitty non-competitive parties, right? And
Well,
so
we hope.
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, like I'm not sure if that's actually going to happen because they do have some people who are halfway smart in the party, at least in terms of how to be able to engage in politics. But like here, right? You essentially
Yeah.
have. Hold on, what quest do I have to do? Cryptic parts.
Well, it's okay.
And so like here, we would essentially have the same kind of issue, right? Where it's like, unless we have a change where we're able to get like, for example, ranked choice voting, which would make third parties more accessible, or at
Mhm.
least viable in the way that like right now they're just flat out not able to be viable. then like it's real like there's no point in voting third party. As far as like, I mean, like you could vote third party as like part of like a principled stance. Like I really believe in climate change, so I'm gonna vote for the Green Party, or I'm gonna vote for the Marijuana Party. But like it's basically a wasted vote.
Yeah, but well, I mean, because like I was talking, just this is my last thing, so I'm just gonna explain really quickly. I have a friend. This is the same friend, where she votes for third party because she doesn't like any of the candidates or whatever for the other ones, and I was like, that's fine and everything, but like I just don't want Trump in my.
Yeah, I think that's a really bad position to take because, I mean, like, it's important in the system that we live in to recognize that, like, one of the two major candidates is going to win, and, like, you may not like either of them, but one of them is going to be better than the other. All right?
No, but she had trouble getting to even the first statement. One of the two, like, she always thinks like, but Danny, if I don't vote for them, who will? And then that's how, you affect change.
It hurts! It hurts so much.
Listen, okay, I know it's dumb, but I don't know how to tell her it's dumb. Didn't we just talk about morally lucky stuff? Right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, that's not. Is that morally lucky? I mean, like, that's not necessarily moral luck because morally lucky would be believing the right ideas for essentially the wrong or no reasons. That's not even believing the right idea. That's just being wrong, and that's it.
Not knowing how to disprove it. That part. Like the not knowing how to disprove. I know it's wrong. I just.
Well, yeah. Oh, you mean how do you disprove the idea that if I don't vote for them, who will? Everyone else who is gonna vote for them. Namely, like how many millions of people, or how many people ended up voting for Trump this past election? Someone give me a number in chat right now. How many people voted for Donald Trump this past election?
I think it was 75 million.
Yeah, 75 million. Yeah, who's gonna vote for them if I don't? Those people. All right, like fucking get out of here with that shit. All right, if you don't like the fate of the world is not hinging on your decision whether or not to vote. And if the idea is like, no, I mean like if enough people think like I do, then then maybe like people won't end up voting. And it's like, listen, if you don't end up voting, then the people who do vote are going to be the people who capitalize on the fact that you're trying to be like take the moral high ground, and they're going to win as a consequence, right? Because you not voting means that they have less votes that they have to cast to be able to get their candidate to win, and that's all that they care about is winning.
Yeah, and that's what I tried to explain. I was like, listen, buddy, at the end of the day, your third party, they're not winning. It's not happening. I don't know what you try to tell yourself every night when you go to sleep, but it's not happening. And then she's like, yeah, Danny, but if I don't vote for that third party, then or like I need to so that other people will, because that's how.
Oh no, that's. I'm sorry, maybe I misunderstood the argument to begin with. Yeah, no, it's even worse because I mean, like, if I don't vote for them, then who will? Well, it doesn't matter. Like, unless you literally get enough people to be able to vote for that third party, like such a tectonic shift that eventually essentially everyone who voted for like the Democratic Party just switches the voting third party, and then essentially like creates. Well, I mean, essentially that's all. Like all that would do is just like shift, like the two-party system to, like it would shift out one of the two parties and move in another, right? Like you would essentially need that to be able to happen for that new party to be viable. And I mean, like the closest we've come to being able to do that has been like the past two elections. I believe in 2016, the Libertarian Party got more votes than it had ever gotten in previous years. And
I saw that.
Yeah, and in this election, there's probably enough political dissatisfaction, especially after Bernie was kicked out in the primaries. There's probably enough political dissatisfaction that if you wanted like the perfect conditions for a third party to actually be viable, it would have been 2020 or 2016. And it didn't happen because as it turns out, we have a system which is like predisposed to make to favor two parties. And unless we fundamentally change the underlying system, doesn't matter how much you want that third party to succeed, it's not going to succeed.
Okay, cool. I was just so triggered when she told me that because like I mean, luckily she lives in California, so luckily
yeah, it doesn't matter. Like her state's going to be blue.
Really matter, like,
yeah.
California.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, I was like, listen, motherfucker. Okay, be smart. Don't be stupid.
Yeah, it's. I mean, like it's really hard. I don't know. There are some people who mean the best but end up making like really. I don't know. Maybe like it is kind of more lucky.
The best. I know that.
Yeah, but I mean like it's hard because like I don't know. Like part of this comes from like a fundamental misunderstanding about like how our electoral system works. Because a lot of people don't understand how it works, and also like it's kind of intended probably like it
absolutely.
Yeah, like our electoral system is like very, very difficult for most people to understand, let alone to be able to like get into like these kind of intricate discussions, which is why we need our which is why we need civics to be taught in public schools again.
Speaking on that, did you see Destiny had a thing? Okay, I just realized I bring it up a lot. Well, I deal with it, I guess. He had a video recently where he talked about how he doesn't think that gerrymandering is necessarily a bad thing anymore, and that was crazy to me.
I can't remember the argument. I think I remember hearing him say that. Can you give me the argument?
Yeah, it was essentially that, like, because beforehand we used to think about like gerrymandering bad because, like, it's like the way it was presented, like it's very obviously like it seems like Republicans are just fucking with districts to get like more votes or whatever. But if you actually look at the data, and you got rid of gerrymandering, because Democrats are so highly concentrated in cities, and then through some voting fuckery, that we would actually lose a lot more votes than we would gain from getting rid of it.
Maybe I'd have to look at that more. I hadn't heard that argument.
Usually, I just thought it was interesting that was brought up. Because like something that like I just never, like, I don't even know.
Yeah, generally I've had a pretty I've had a pretty negative stance on gerrymandering, but that's an interesting perspective, and I'll just need to think more on it.
It was a paper that just came out apparently in the New York Times. So.
Oh really? If you want to link me to that, then that would be pretty good. I would check that out.
I would love to, but I'm not. I don't even pretend.
All right. Well, if someone links it to me, then I'll read that sometime.
You know what?
It's
if you
interesting.
want, I can DM it to you and find it later.
Well, I mean, usually I have DMs off. Just like put it in politics and at me.
Yeah, that's fine. Cool. Awesome. All right. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate the conversation.
No problem. Yeah, appreciate it. Bye.